What do zombies, Motaba, and a guzzling wasteland have in common? They're just like COVID-19.
Join us for Apocalypse Now as we review some of the best and worst pandemic, post-apocalyptic, and general end-of-the-world films and relate them to today's current predicament.
Give us a listen. We might just save your life. And then share it with a friend. Or don't. Whatever. It's not the end of the world.
Join Scott.
And Callum.
And Des. Every Friday for a new episode of Apocalypse Now.
Because you never know.
Hello? 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 If you can hear this, it's not too late. I've returned to warn you. This is Time Pop, a podcast that discusses time travel and pop culture. There are spoilers. I've seen the future, and nothing is sacred to these folks. Your past, present, and future are sure to be ruined. Even if you could go back in time, as I have, you will never forget what you are about to hear. You've been warned. This is Time Pop.
Ready, Bill? Ready, Ted? 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome, Chrononauts, as we guide you through the experience of time travel using pop culture as our Missy. We will be your Constance. I am Des.
And I'm Ari.
And this is Outdoor.
I was going to say Time Pop Under the Stars.
Oh my God, I can't. Oh, that's so much better. And I forget we're actually in the same place too. So we were actually going to nail it.
Oh.
You want to do it again?
And this is
Time Pop Under the Stars.
Yeah. Yes, people, we are together.
In the same general area.
Oh, this is so nice.
This is kind of a big deal.
Oh, yes. We also have a very special guest in the outdoor studio this evening. The one, the only, Mr. Scott Lifton.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. This is special. We're in the same location and we're outdoor. We're seeing humans, and this is outdoor recording.
We are in my backyard. I have drugged the whole theater and recording situation out here, and it's beautiful.
Yes, you might hear like neighborhood dogs barking. You might hear a siren or two.
That's all a part of the experience.
So what brought us together? What could make us put our lives at risk in this great year of our Lord 2020?
Only one thing could bring together such an epic, bodacious gathering of people. The return of Bill and Ted in Bill and Ted 3 Face the Music. Supposedly their song will align the stars in space and save reality as we know it. And that's
most triumphant.
Most triumphant, dude.
Let's drag this out a little bit, Ari.
You want to drag it out? There is so much to unpack in this movie. This movie, I would have to say, is the first time that I think there is too much.
Oh.
There's too much happening.
But it's so thin.
And yet, not that much happening.
Exactly.
It's a paradox.
How did they do that? How did so many little things happening that makes it a little bit confusing as someone who has to recap this movie, but yet not very much happened at all.
That is a Bill and Ted's movie, right? In a nutshell. Not much happens in them, but things happen. It's a conundrum.
Yeah, I really, really wish I'd watched Bogus Journey before this too, just to see how much. Like, I think you have a little bit more experience, Scott, with both. I have plenty of experience with Excellent Adventure. Did they take was a good half and half, or
what do you mean by half and half?
Like what they took from
what they referenced?
Yeah.
Oh, in the movie, there's not much. The station reference, that's like their thing. They build a robot that plays guitar at the end, but
oh, is that from Bogus Journey?
Bogus Journey Station is like an expression they're saying, and then they figure it out at the end. In Bogus Journey, it's not. There's an evil guy from the future that sends back bad Bill and Teds, and they send them to hell and try to like take their girlfriends and ruin everything, and then they have to go through hell to like come back to then play the song and save the universe and win back the babes.
Got to win back the babes.
You got to win back the babes. So that's essentially what you missed.
Well, we've seen it we have done, I don't know what episode it is, but if you are a new listener to the show, you should go back and check out Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
That was the first
one.
movie.
Yes. But during that experience, we watched a double feature. Ari and I watched both
We did.
movies, but then, of course, we only talked about the first one. But was this worth the wait, Scott?
Do I drop the opinion now? Do we wait?
I think so. I got to go to you, too, because I don't think Ari was in on the ground floor of the Bill and Ted's experience back in was it late 80s, early 90s?
The first movie is like 88.
Okay.
And then the second one's in the 90s.
Okay.
Man, this feels like that film that like somebody just pieced together to just get it out there to the people. It's just sloppily pieced together. There's so many points left on the field that were not. It was just rushed out. Nobody can feel that good about this.
Well, and from what I know, this has been in the works for a while. Like, this is something that I feel like came up every couple years. Like, I think someone might be working on Bill and Ted's 3. Like,
they made the announcement, I think, I don't know, was it a year or two ago? And everybody on social media was freaking out about it and looking forward to it. I mean, that's a thing from some of our childhood.
I wonder if some serious diehard fans of this movie are going to love this.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, and I appreciate like the humor of the first one. It's a little bit dumb. It was like Wayne's World before Wayne's World was a thing, But this doesn't have even that meat. It's so hard to say the meat behind it. It's sloppily put together. The saving grace of this film are the daughters. The two daughters that are supposed to emulate Bill and Ted kill it. They're fantastic. Even the posture, great.
Ted is really good. I like Girl Ted.
Girl Ted.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves' daughter.
Yes.
Yeah, the dark-haired one.
The one playing Keanu Reeves' daughter. Yeah.
The posture.
Yeah.
The neck out and the arm.
The one the Bill's daughter, she wasn't bad, but Ted's daughter really nailed it, I thought.
I kept watching this, and to me, it feels like Keanu is so uncomfortable. Like he just doesn't want to be here.
I feel like that's how he was in the
Winters.
first one.
No, he's into it. He's doofy. This feels like an old guy trying to play that. I don't know. He just feels like he's doing this for the fans or the money. Or
he's fluid. I mean, you see the guy do kung fu. He is not that stiff of a human being. And like in this one, like, oh, by the way, happy birthday. Keanu turned 56 yesterday.
Hey.
So, and he looked it in this. Like you watch John Wick and you're like, he can't be 50.
It's the beard.
And then you watch this and it looks like your grandpa trying not to fall, even without the old makeup. He looks like he's like, I don't want to move too fast or I'm going to hurt a hip.
Well, apparently he's had a bunch of serious injuries between all the movies that he's done. Like he got seriously injured in Matrix. I think he got seriously injured in John Wick. But anyway, we digress.
I believe it. So we watch Bill and Ted Face the Music sans : just going to say that. I like it. Just Bill and Ted Face the Music. All one statement. It's a beautiful thing. Came out in 2020, starring Keanu Reeves and the guy who plays Bill.
Alex Winter.
Thank you, Alex Winter.
I thought he was good in this.
He was supernatural.
It's so funny as iconic as this role is, I do always picture him in The Lost Boys.
Yep.
I think he should always have long hair and fangs. Kristen Schaal, Aaron Hayes,
Glee Woman.
Lots of recognizable faces. Great cast. Now, sorry, do you think this, if you can't say it on mic, Scott, then don't say it at all.
I just
I thought you were gonna say something to
no,
her.
Wow.
Way to call him out, jeez.
I know. I'm not.
I just looked at her.
I got people in my studio where I can keep an eye on them. I
just got lectured at an outdoor Bill and Ted podcast in COVID. What the hell is happening in this world?
Now, do you think this maybe got rushed after The Shelter? Like maybe they were going to do a little bit more shooting?
I would love to believe that because that would explain it.
I mean, it's 91 minutes, and there's no reason for this movie to be 2 hours, but there are some long scenes that don't need to be that long. There's a 2.5 minute stinger.
If anything, I feel like they did more and then didn't put it in. So
Really?
I don't know about being rushed, but maybe rushed in the editing. But I feel like with the side story of their wives and the older version of their wives, I feel like that got rushed and something got cut, because what the bleep was the point of all that?
You're right. They did touch on the girlfriends traveling or the wives traveling through time a lot, but then
Nothing
we just
came
saw
from
them.
it.
We saw their stunt doubles getting into a time machine
It's a
from
sloppy
a distance.
plot. It is a sloppy, rushed together plot. It just doesn't even make sense. I like to hear when you guys break down the plot. That's going to be fun.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
Ari, we will help you along. We just watched this
Fresh.
and we have it on again silently in the background, and I couldn't recap this movie if you paid me.
Okay, I'm going to try.
Yeah, we can do it.
I'm going to try real hard. So, Bill and Ted were supposed to be famous musicians. I think they got a little bit of fame after the second movie, but then the song that they were supposed to write that was going to unite the world never happened, and they fell. Their star fell hard and fast. And for the past 25 years, they have been musicians, but they have not been successful at all. They've been trying really hard still with the intent to write this amazing song that is going to unite the world, right? That's the thing.
Yes.
So they now have daughters who are 23 years old, and I just got like a whiff of like rosemary or something.
Sure wasn't time.
It smells really good all of a sudden. Okay, sorry. It's distracting out here.
I like this. I thought the hand holding mics was going to kind of throw me off, but that feels right.
Feels like we're on vacation.
This is
Scott's got his feet up. Okay, we're getting distracted. Okay, so they are about to give up. Keanu's character, I can still to this day not remember if he is Bill or if he is Ted, but Keanu wants to give up. He wants to sell his guitar and give up. And part of the reason for that is because they're having trouble with their wives. They go to couples counseling with their wives, but it's a couple of couples. So both Bill and Ted and their wives go to couples counseling, and they cannot tell their wife individually that they love them. So like Bill can't say, "I love you, wife," and Ted can't say, "I love you, wife." It's, "We love you, wives." Anyway.
Scott, we love you.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, wives.
Desmond and I love you. So the wives aren't happy. They want to give up. And then all of a sudden, from the future comes the egg pod. Or from the sky comes the egg pod. And out of the egg pod comes a future lady who says...
It's Rufus's daughter.
Oh, it's Rufus's daughter. "Come with me.
The future wants to talk to you, essentially.
The council wants to
council.
talk to you."
Yeah.
So they go...
At this point, the wives aren't like ready to leave. Like the wives love them and they're just trying to get them. Like at this point, when they leave the office, it's not like the wives are like, "We're done."
But there's issues. They're concerned.
Well, they're in therapy.
Yeah.
But like how quickly that turns to like your wives bailed on you.
Yeah, where did they learn that information?
From the future them.
Which future then? Because right after they
first
go
time.
to the future, so they go to 2720.
Right.
The
Yes.
Rufus's daughter from the future brings them back to 2720, and they go talk to the council, and the council says, "Hey, the space-time continuum is collapsing."
Because it's not, I think at this point, they think their song is just going to unite Earth.
Yes, but it turns out that it's supposed to save space and time. And we see glimpses of time collapsing, like certain figures, certain people throughout history are being pulled out and dropped somewhere else.
Time's getting all
So,
messed up.
like in the portrait of the Last Supper, Jesus is pulled out and then dropped in like a baseball game. And then like Babe Ruth is pulled out and dropped on like Delaware crossing the Mississippi or whatever.
Washington crossing the Delaware.
That's
Did we see Gandhi?
Delaware crossing.
Did we see
the
Gandhi
Mississippi.
dropped on a highway or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're implying that space and time is collapsing, but they don't tell us why. It just is.
Well, because of the song, because they needed the song to.
Because there wasn't a song.
Right.
Yes.
Just on its own, time is like, F this.
See, everything,
S.
You know what? If you
everything
wanna
is
add-
made of vibrations. And without the perfect song to vibrate our united particles together, we collapse.
So, but here's my question to you.
That wasn't in the movie, by the way.
That's just Desmond.
That's
spacing
just
out.
Desmond getting hippy dippy on us. So here's my question to you. I'm going to point out the holes as we go. I don't want to go back. They are pulled to 2720, and the people there say, hey, space and time is falling apart. Oh, as I'm saying this, I know the answer, but I'm going to keep going. Space and time is falling apart. The way that you are going to fix this is by performing the song, the one song that you've been spending the past 25 years of your life trying to write. You're going to write that song and you're going to perform it on certain time and day and location. They give him the time, date, and location, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 7:46 that night for them.
7/17.
7:17.
They don't give a date.
It was that day, whatever.
That day,
In their present.
In their present, right.
This movie does have a great ticking clock that follows the movie, which I always appreciate.
Although it doesn't make sense, right?
Well, it falls apart a little bit.
It's kind of like in the first film. They pretty much say they have 45 minutes to do this. And if you're going to the future and the past, as long as you're back in time, you don't have only 46, you have all of time. But they make it like that present is going now in real time and you can't do anything to change
But
it.
they at least explain it.
Yeah, and
in the first one, like you think, I have a time machine, I can always go back 45 minutes.
Right.
But at least Rufus says the clock in San Dimas is always ticking.
And she gives him a little pocket watch.
Yeah. The
that has
reason
a
why
thing.
it doesn't make sense is because he looks at the watch and says, we have 15 minutes, and the watch clearly shows 12 minutes left on it. It's like...
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the council people say, you've got to perform the song in like 77 minutes or something from now at this location, or time and space is going to collapse. So for me, automatically right off the bat, that's like, okay, so time in the future is going to collapse, but also time in the past is going to collapse. But if time in the past collapsed, there would have never been a future. So right off the bat, that tells me this is multiple either timelines or multiple dimensions.
This is Scott.
Yes.
I think this is where Scott's theory comes in.
Yes.
It's all
right. So let's say that
happening.
there's like this cosmic issue happening now. It's going to happen to all times at that same. It's coming to the future. It's going to happen to the past because it's happening in a overall now.
So all time is happening all at the same time.
Because of this cosmic tear, it would happen to every moment now, even though it's a different sense of now, right?
So it takes away, it's not so much it takes away the butterfly effect in a sense.
Okay, so yes, it has to, because some of the things they do in this movie, I'm like, really? You cannot kill your past self or your past self, because then you will not exist.
They reference that
after they take shots at it.
But they're supposed to be kind of dumb in the movie, and they acknowledge that.
I still don't understand how the future Teds.
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna talk about that, my friend.
Yeah.
Oh boy, are we! So to any normal person, you wouldn't pick up on that right away. Like they're just like, at this time in this place, we got a message from the future saying, in the past, the future's past, you need to do this or everything's gonna dissolve.
That's right, because no one in the future has a copy of this song,
right?
Which is another thing that gives light to the. It's all now.
Yeah. And one very important thing that they do in the beginning of this movie, which is kind of a cheating, as I think it is they have a little quote that says, everything will make sense in the end. So if we're going through this movie and nothing makes sense, don't worry, it'll all make sense at the end.
Things don't always make sense until the end of the story.
That's literally what they said.
Yep.
That actually gave me hope for the film. Like, oh, this will all come full circle.
Yeah, but then it kind of didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bill and Ted are kind of freaking out. They're like, oh, balls, we have to write the most epic song to save space and time. That's a lot of pressure. What do we do? Oh my gosh. So then Keanu's like, I know, let's go into the future and steal the song from ourselves.
Killer Keanu.
I like Ari's Keanu.
Was that good?
Yeah, her posture's pretty good.
I did the posture. You guys.
It looks good. It really sells it.
So they have the brilliant idea of going into the future and stealing the song from themselves. So they do. They go 5 years into the future.
2 years.
Sorry, they go 2 years into the future of their future. So 2022.
Now you're getting into some loop theory, right? They're assuming we already made the song, so we go in the future. They'll be the ones that have done
Bootstrap.
it. Bootstrap, yeah. Bootstrap,
Okay,
sorry.
but bootstrap going forward. Most bootstrap stories, bootstrap paradoxes only take place going into the past.
Well, if they took the song into the past,
But if they don't have a thing, if they don't have a song,
right?
That's where it gets
and then they
off.
go into the future,
Yeah, that's where
they've
it goes
never
off.
Oh.
made it. So their future selves
Yeah.
don't have that thing
They
that
destroy
their
it.
past selves never made. So to me, right away, I'm like,
Well, no, they
My-
address it.
Alternate
none of the-
universes.
No, every time they go to the future, none of those Bill and Ted's have the song. So you're right.
exactly. So I know that this plan isn't going to work, but did you guys know that this was never going to work?
I guessed the plot pretty early on.
Okay, so
I didn't. I
said it to you halfway through the movie.
I'm always bad. I've talked about this on shows before. Like my movie math is really slow. So I thought for sure they were going to go to the future and hear the song somehow and then screw something else up. But since this movie knew that Ari would be watching and had to put a little bit of hard science in there, they knew that if present Bill and Ted never wrote the song, then future Bill and Ted, of course, didn't write the song.
right. So, but Bill and Ted didn't know that. So they go 2 years into the future and they meet themselves in 2 years, and apparently they're assholes and they're still trying to be musicians, but their life is crap. They say, your wives have left you. We are miserable. We're trying to get them back. We don't have the song. You guys was basically good luck.
Do they mention yet that it's the older time traveling wives, or is that in 2025?
So this must be where
They did mention it.
This must be where they mention, like, so they say, like, yeah, your wives leave you. Some older version of your wives come and take them on a journey in their own time traveling phone booth, and they eventually find a time, or they're looking for a time that's better with
That's
them.
right.
So they bring up alternate timelines at this point.
Yes, so they're trying to find a timeline. There's just so much.
So much.
So they've implied that they're in the same timeline traveling to the future to find something that doesn't exist, but yet their wives got a random visit from future old wives lady who have their own time traveling device that go and take them on a fun little journey around time.
Which we barely see.
Like they could have left that out. There was no point.
There should have been a scene for that. Yeah, it didn't add anything. Yeah.
That's what I mean. I felt like there was something, but it got cut.
Yeah.
Or they never shot it.
Yeah, or they never shot it.
Yeah.
So the
Those
the dudes head back to their wives. Then there's the whole pointless wives scene. Like, don't leave us. We're gonna fix this, and
they just run out.
and then they leave, and they keep trying to find the song.
And that's why I just realized that's why in the movie they send Bill and Ted out in the hallway while she talks to the wives alone. So then we don't run into the paradox of them running into each other.
The wives don't run into each other.
No, the two Bill and Teds from 2020.
Oh. Right.
Oh, I missed that part. Okay.
Well,
No,
they
I
don't.
get it.
He's
He's just saying plot wise. That's why.
like it's one of those stupid things that could.
Well, because the time there is continuing. So they left. They were gone for however many,
Oh,
forever,
that's right.
how much time was left, and then they came back. So there was no chance of them running into themselves.
Clock and Sandine.
So
is always
it's
ticking.
important to note, I think, that the first film is Bootstrap. The first film is they did in the future, and that's why they sent them back. But they send them back to help them make it, which is how they make it. But because they make it, that's how the future. So that's all self-contained in most of the first and second one. It is all Bootstrap. It is all the future came back to help them benefit the future. It is like Terminator.
Yeah, they
Bootstrap.
go into the past.
In the second film, in
But
Bogus
no,
Journey,
But that's like, I don't think it is. I think that's happening all at the same time too, because if Bill and Ted of the present being 1988, fail the test,
but they don't.
then Rufus never hears about them.
Exactly. So they obviously passed, which is why Rufus comes back, but he says they need their help. That has to keep happening for this timeline to happen. That has to keep happening as a loop.
Why would that happen the first time?
It wouldn't. You can't think of it as first time.
Oh, that's right.
It's always
It's a
happened that
loop,
way.
yeah.
That's the only explanation for it.
that's
the whole
the
point.
bootstrap.
The second film does a
Okay.
similar thing. At the end, though, they do something similar to this. At the end, they have to play their song. They're like, we don't know how to play. They go to the future, they take lessons, and then they come back and then they learn how to play.
That's the second one?
In the second one, yeah.
Yeah.
They go in the future, and then they've been gone. They come back with like kids on their back. They've been learning for years in the future, and they come back. So this is similar, the idea of stealing from themselves in the future. Okay, so you're talking about the first time they met themselves, they were assholes.
Okay, so no, we're past that part. So there's the pointless scene with the wives. I'm not even going to go into it because that's unimportant.
We go to 2025.
Okay, so then they're like, okay, let's go further into the future because maybe we'll have written it by then.
Which makes no sense.
Which makes no sense. So they're not smart. We know this by now. So then they go to 2025.
Yes.
Okay. And they come across big, beautiful mansion. And they're like, we did it. We must have just become famous again. They go inside. They see Bill and Ted in crazy 70s rock star gear with British accents. And they're like, yeah, we were expecting you. Welcome. We finally did it. We wrote the song. Here it is. And they give him like a CD drive.
A USB.
No, they give him a CD disc.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That time they gave him a disc.
And they're like, great, thank you so much. And they're going to go back. And just as they're leaving, they open the door and it's some other famous dude.
Dave Grohl.
Who's that?
Dave Grohl.
Yeah, Dave Grohl. We know Dave Grohl. We're like this. Me and him, we play Quidditch like
the Nirvana fighters, the Foo-Vanas.
Nirvana, and he formed the Foo Fighters.
I'm not cool like you guys.
We're so cool.
No, you're just not 90s nerds. It's okay.
Okay, so it turns out to be this famous dude's house.
Yes.
And the Bill and Ted are the same Bill and Ted from when they traveled 2 years into the future, trying to trick them to give him a good song, any good song. They stole it from this guy to send back in hopes that would save the universe. Oh, and here's another point about when they traveled 2 years into the future. Bill and Ted knew that they were going to do this and were expecting them, which is a whole nother hole. But anyway, so
they remember it from their younger selves.
Bill and Ted, both sets of...
They remember from when they were them that they did that.
2025 and
2022 and 2025.
But that doesn't make sense because the them that did that actually ended up being successful, so that shouldn't have become them.
Exactly. So they're implying that...
Alternate.
No, because it's... Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
So they're implying that the future Bill and Ted have done this before and they remember it. So that time it didn't work. Meanwhile, while they're doing this, their daughters... Oh, no. Meanwhile, Rufus's future daughter, future Rufus and his daughter from the future, Rufus's wife...
This is a lot.
See what I mean? That's what I said. There's so much to this flippin' movie, but yet not much happens. So Rufus's wife, the mother of Rufus's daughter, decide that maybe if they kill Bill and Ted, that they are going to potentially save the universe that way.
Because there's some sacred texts that Rufus had been deciphering, interpreting. And so, they feel that maybe another interpretation is that it's their death that will bring peace to the world, to the universe, to the galaxy.
So future council lady sends a robot.
Who is she? She's someone. Keep talking.
Back in time. A robot. At this point, it's a robot.
Okay, fine.
We'll get there.
Okay.
That's his favorite character.
Apparently.
He's right up there with Griffin from Men in Black 3. Like, I want Griffin and Robot to be named later to be kicking
in a movie together somewhere. Okay. So she sends a futuristic robot back in time to kill Bill and Ted. So Rufus's daughter disagrees with this. She goes to try and look for them. Instead, she comes across Bill and Ted's daughters and basically says, help, we need to come up with the greatest song. And the girls are like, great, you need a band to do that. Can you show us how to use your time machine and we can go throughout time and collect famous musicians to put together a band to help our fathers create the song that is going to save space and time.
Do they make that? I thought they just accidentally ended up in 67.
No, that was a choice.
No, that was a choice.
Okay.
So the first person they go back to is Jimi Hendrix.
Bubblegum chewing Jimmy.
He says no. And so they say, who does he respect? Let's get that person on board. And then Jimi Hendrix will be on board. So then they go back to like the 1920s and they get
Louis Armstrong.
Louis Armstrong is like, okay. So he comes on board. Jimi Hendrix is on board. Meanwhile, this is all happening while all the other stuff is happening. But we'll just tell you about this little side story.
Yeah.
So they end up getting Jimi Hendrix, Louis Armstrong, Mozart, some Chinese flute
Flutist,
playing
flautist.
lady.
Oh yeah,
A Mongolian drum? No.
No,
Yeah,
no, an
Mongolian
African drummer.
well, the drummer was just I shouldn't say just, but then they went back to the caveman times, like
Yeah.
super way back to get the
Yeah.
bucket drummer, because they went to 2600 to get the flautist, and then I didn't see what they jumped back to again to get the drummer.
So apparently it's some well-known drummer, African drummer. And then for some reason along their travels, they kind of bump into Kid Cudi. That wasn't actually Kid Cudi, right?
Oh, it was.
That was actually Kid Cudi?
Yeah.
Okay. And he decides to join the little group as well. So they've got this band and they're going to try and find or link up with their dads. Okay. So meanwhile, Bill and Ted had a unsuccessful attempt 5 years in the future when bad Bill and Ted pretended to be successful British people. So then they're like, okay, let's go even further into the future. And they go to 2030. So that's another 5 years into the future. And they just can miraculously know where they are. So
well,
they're,
that's the phone booth. The
yeah,
phone
the
booth
phone
dials
booth
people,
knows. Yeah.
not places.
Right. So they end up in a futuristic looking jail. I guess it's just a regular looking jail, but they end up in jail and they come across.
They just wander in the jail, by the way.
They just walk in the
Oh,
jail.
they landed in the jail. They just landed in the
Okay.
push-up pit.
Anyway, security guards didn't worry about it.
Yeah, no.
And they come across a extremely hulked out buff Bill and Ted. Meanwhile, the robot's been going around trying to kill people. I think the robot killed Ted's dad.
Yeah.
But when he shoots them with his little laser, they disintegrate into ash and then they go to hell. So apparently everybody in this movie is very bad and everyone goes straight to hell. So
Well, that's the wish of the Supreme Leader.
Yeah, it's important at this point that the robot has a run-in with the daughters in the band when they get back and accidentally shoots them and sends the daughters and all of these historical band members to hell.
To hell.
That's right.
Exactly. So, but
I
meanwhile...
think that's where Kid Cudi, doesn't Kid Cudi just get like caught in the crossfire?
Yeah, and he gets brought into hell. Is that what it
Yeah.
is? So Bill and Ted, obviously, they're not going to get the song from 2030 buffed out Bill and Ted. So they go back to... Where do they go after that?
I think they go back. I don't think they jump straight to 67 after that. But maybe they do. Maybe they do just jump to 67.
1967?
No, 2067.
Oh, 2067.
Yeah.
How do they find out that their daughters are in hell?
They jump somewhere and they come across the robot.
Yeah, the robot tells them.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. That's right. They jump to 2067 and encounter very old Bill and Ted.
Yes.
Right.
And very old Bill and Ted give them a flash drive.
Which they apparently just got from their old wives.
Right.
Like we see the old wives hop in their booth.
That's
They
really
go,
important.
Oh, we just
got this
Because I was about to say that doesn't make, like we said, it doesn't make sense. What they do, they go a year in the future. They don't have it. They keep going more in the future. If it didn't happen in the past, why would it happen the further they go out? And then I was like, yeah, why all of a sudden when they're old, they have it? That makes sense. It's because...
But they didn't have it. It was a message.
No, it was like
it
a
was
thumb
an
drive.
MP. It was or not an MP3.
And never at any point did they actually plug that thumb drive into anything and play it. That was a message. Because when it broke in half, it had the names on each side, and then that's when they realized, oh, it's not us, it's our daughters who have the same
but
last
it might
name.
have had that anyway.
It might have still had the song on it.
No, there was no song,
Well,
guys.
Why would you say that?
Because there was no song on the MP3. It was them play. Okay, we'll get there. So, so they give him an MP3. They're like, great. As they're leaving, they come across the robot. The robot is like, I have to kill you because you have the song. And then they break the MP3 and throw it down. It's like, oh, we don't have the song. You can't kill us.
No, you have
Is
to
the
kill
opposite.
us.
You have to kill
Oh,
us.
wait. That's right. Okay. So he's like, because I have the MP3, I don't have to kill you now because you have the song. The whole point was they didn't create the song. So then they were going to send the robot to kill them to try to save the universe. But because now they supposedly had the song, the robot was not going to kill them. But then somehow he confessed that he killed their daughters and a bunch of other people. And then they were like, oh no, you killed our daughters. You killed our daughters. Where are they? Not,
Yes.
oh no, you killed our daughters. It's,
Yeah.
you killed our daughters. Where are they? So apparently they know that,
They're well-traveled men.
yeah,
They've been to hell
they
and
know
back.
about hell. So the robot's like, oh, they're in hell. So okay, I'm getting so confused. So Bill and Ted break the MP3, throw it on the ground. The robot's like, I'm confused. I don't know what to do. Do I kill you?
Robot has an emotional breakdown.
Robot has like
Decides to kill himself.
So he kills himself, and Bill and Ted jump on him just as he's doing that. All three of them go to hell. In hell, they eventually come across the daughters and all the band members. They then go to Death's door. Knocking
Dun, dun,
on
dun.
Death's door.
Hey.
Knocking on. That's not how that goes.
Okay, so the daughters convince Death to basically join the band because apparently, I forgot this, that Death is supposedly the best bass player
He joined the band, yeah.
ever. That was in the second
Yes.
movie?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's pissed off because he got kicked out of the band for doing 40 minutes.
He had an ego problem, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So he's like, okay, I'll be part of your band. They all get in a SWAT van.
Well, that's because when he shot
The dad.
Bill's dad, the SWAT
Van
was behind him.
Yeah,
So it got
so the
disintegrated.
SWAT van got sent to hell as well, you guys.
And they just drive it out.
Death is like-
they didn't break through.
Well, it went up. Remember, it shot up into the sky.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So they're all in this van. They're all driving on a freeway, and there's all this traffic on the freeway. And I guess space-time is just freaking out more, and all these famous people are popping in and popping out, and the pyramids and all these
Yeah.
space-time is just disintegrating. So
Everything's getting folded in on itself.
So killing Bill and Ted was not the answer.
right. So
Correct.
at some point in the beginning, the council future lady woman said, you have to play this song at this time in this location. And the location turned out to be a specific spot on the freeway, MP46.
Yes.
So they're like, we're here. We have to play the song. We got all your band together, Dad. Ready, set, go. Do it. And they, they're frozen. They don't know what to do. It's what do we can't. This is so much pressure. And moments before then, the robot's like, hey guys, by the way, I saved this for you. When you threw it on the ground, I somehow secretly, and he was holding the MP3 player, MP3
The broken thumb
drive that they broke and threw it on the ground. When you threw it on the ground, I somehow very quickly and secretly picked it back up, and then I shot myself when you jumped on me to also kill yourself. So here's the thumb drive, and they hold it up, and on the thumb drive it has Preston and Logan. So their last names on each side, and they hold it up in front of the daughters or behind it, and they're like, it's you. You're the band. We're just here to support you. So the girls are like, yeah! And everybody comes together, and they create a stage, and they get all their instruments because there happens to be a Guitar Center van also blocked in traffic on the freeway. I told you there was so much to this.
And here's where it gets really special. They decide that they need to hand out instruments to everyone in all of history.
Right. So
they have to grab the instruments.
it's
and
not
go
just
to
all the people that
everyone.
they collected playing at once, because that turns out to be poo-poo. So somehow, I forget who was it that was like, I know what it is. We've got to use our quantum time.
Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi knows more about time travel than anybody.
Yeah. Which is in line with his character. I don't know if you guys listen to his music at all, but like he gets into
Some cosmic
I mean,
shit.
I've listened to like the Poppy Top 40 stuff, but I'm going to go back and like
Yeah.
re-listen to this guy.
Moon Man.
So Kid Cudi
Yeah.
has the like token science jargon lines of this movie. You know how every time travel movie's got to have that moment where they like spout out some sci-fi law jargon.
And he just knows this
Yeah.
stuff. He's like, well, it's the quantum entangled.
Yeah, totally. And he
blah,
says
blah, blah.
it real quick, so you're not really supposed to hear what it is and try to understand it. Because trust me, I tried to understand it, and it's just a bunch of jargon. But hey, I have a newfound respect for Kid Cudi. So Kid Cudi was like, "This is the answer. You have to go throughout time really fast in your time machine and give instruments to everybody in time, in history, in all of the world." So that then supports the theory that all time is happening all at once.
Yes.
And Scott Lifton got a boner. So
yes. Time boner.
This is a blues riff in B. Watch me for the changes and try to keep up.
what?
Back to the Future reference.
Oh. So they do that. They give instruments to everybody in time, all the different places that they went to earlier, and everybody plays at the same time, and all these blue lights start to glow. And meanwhile, there's been a big giant hole in the the sky that's been forming, and all the blue lights go and fill the hole, and everything is
And then
saved.
it just ends. It just ends super quick. They put narration in. I swear, I think they had to finish this quickly. Maybe coronavirus was happening at the end of their shoot. They just had
Yeah.
to do some quick. I don't know. The first film was Bootstrap, and like at least you could go with that. This is playing on that, but then it's not. The fact that they go to their future selves, like, no, you didn't do it. Obviously, in this film, they did do it with their daughters, so you would think their future selves would reflect that. Unless you're saying they're going to alternate timelines where they didn't do it, it just that doesn't go along with everything else this series had always done.
Well, this is a horrible response to the people who watched Bogus Journey and said, "What happened to all the time travel?"
Yeah, and it was really quick. They just grab a few band members. They don't really have adventures, I guess they go to their future. It's
for
not
a
fun
minute-
time travel.
Yeah, for a minute
No.
when I thought it was going to turn into Bill and Ted's 1 with the daughters romping through time and getting, like I would have, I don't know where, I mean, maybe instead of a mall, maybe they end up at a Guitar Center with all of these people from thousands of years ago
Yeah.
and tearing that up. Like that could have been fun.
So essentially, what we were talking about earlier that we were kind of disagreeing on, they could not get the song from their future selves because there was no song. The solution was, like Kid Cudi said, giving instruments to everybody in time and everybody playing at once. Okay, so the thumb drive that they gave, there was nothing on it. It was the words written on the thumb drive.
Why do you assume that? It could be.
I don't.
Because you could see that it was delivered to right before from the women traveling through time.
It had to have been, because if they are actually them, there's nothing.
The women saved the day in this, essentially. So you start realizing that the wives had a reason for that journey, the older one, and they take them, they go in whatever timeline is correct. They get the recording from the past, maybe, and give it to the old guys to give to them to figure it out.
There was no recording. See, in my
It just says the name on it. It's just the
right,
split.
and there's nothing on the actual.
It could be. It's not relevant. The
There
relevant
could
thing
be
is that their
there
names
could
are
be
on
a
it.
file on there that says it's not you, it's your daughter.
Yeah.
Right, but my point is they broke it in half. So
Right.
they broke to
Right.
symbolize that this is no longer working. Whatever is supposedly on this thing is no longer working, because it's not what's on it in it. It's what's written on it.
Yeah.
Right.
But it could have also had it in it. That's all.
Right, but
That's not what's
could
important.
have. If it could have, they would have shown that as a storyteller.
I don't think so, because I think it can serve its purpose both ways.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter if the song's on it or not.
So you guys took it as there was something on that
Yes.
flash drive, but they didn't need it because they had the realization and they figured it out on their own. But the wives or somebody recorded something that would have also saved space-time, put it on this flash drive, and then the wives somehow got it and returned it.
The song had to be played live at MP46.
Yeah, it was recorded, and then they brought it to the future guys.
But I'm sure after this thing happened, I'm sure they took Mozart and Louis and all of them to the studio and laid this track down on wax.
When they were in this future, didn't they listen to the song, or did they not?
No.
Okay.
At no point did they listen to the song because there was no song.
It's not really that important. I don't know what you're so upset about. There might have been. It doesn't matter. It's all that matters is the name's written on the back. But it might have had the
Right,
song
that's
in it.
what I mean.
She's just saying, yeah, I get what she's saying.
She thinks it
and
was just a note from them. But
No,
either way,
I
it
think
could have
it
been, or it could be that it had the song in it and they just broke it, but they still referenced
It was the
names.
realization that there was no song. It was the daughters
No,
orchestrating.
now I will
The song
argue.
was written
just-
by the daughters.
There was no written. It was everybody playing throughout time all at once. There was no actual.
Yes,
I
it was
realized-
because Kid Cudi made sure that he told Bill and Ted what key and beats per second the song was to make sure everyone played it correctly.
he did because it
Yeah.
was the daughters who had their little pushy button machine thing.
Right.
Who's like, let's try this.
Well,
And then
whoever,
they matched it.
Whoever put them in, I think it was Cudi. Whoever put them in, he said, it's 124 beats per minute. Make sure and tell them all that. Now go give him instruments.
Right. Instruments throughout time.
Right. But that means that there was a plan, like it wasn't just people playing. Like it's not like one person was playing Row, Row, Row Your Boat. One person was playing Michael Jackson's Thriller. One person, like they were all playing to the same beat.
But you could still have a recording of this in one time and still make a recording.
Right.
But you can't record.
I think there was something on that.
Okay. I mean, we can.
I'm trying to think of
we can agree to disagree, but you can't record everybody throughout time.
No, you couldn't. You would just record at MP46.
So how
in that
would
time.
you giving instruments and then leaving right away, giving instruments and then leaving right away? How would they know what song to play if there was an actual specific song? Sure, I can understand saying play this beat, whatever it is you're playing, play
but now,
this beat.
Okay, so you don't think that the day after this happened, they don't go record that song?
No.
Well, I don't think that. I think the recording is when it happened on MP46.
No, I definitely don't think that happened, Desmond.
I think they recorded it at that time at MP46 and then that.
I guess you're probably right because there's so many computers there. It'd be easy.
It was a live improvisational jam.
I was like, okay, who's recording it?
Kid Cudi is probably recording. I don't know. The
Kid,
girls.
Is it
the girls
Kid
record,
Cudi?
Kid Cudi.
Kid Cudi.
The girls recorded it on their system.
Yeah. No, you're right. With all.
And then the wives had it, held on to it till they were very old, and then when they were very old, got a hold of the telephone booth.
I'm not saying that.
Remember when their telephone booth went
the
missing?
exact right song was on. Like, I'm not saying that. Like, I don't think that if they got to a computer and plugged the thumb drive in and pressed play, they would have saved the universe. The point of saving the universe was to play it live.
Right.
But I still think there was also something on that thumb drive.
I agree with that.
Interesting. Okay. I disagree.
This is a pointless debate.
I disagree.
It's not a huge thing.
But the overall point is so much happened. Little things here and there happened in this movie, but then, like Scott said, not much happened at all.
They just kept trying to find it to say, oh, it was just from my daughters. And it was a lot of wasting time to get to that.
And there was some crazy time travel talk. Like they had, they're like, wait, what? But if you're here and I'm there, then we're where? Whoa. And that was it. Thank you for listening to Time Pop. Brought to you by Sounds Awesome. Please like and subscribe and tell a neighbor or friend about it so you can share a discussion of your own on the topic of this movie. Please check us out on social media. We are at What Sounds Awesome on Facebook and Instagram and at Sounds Awesome 2 on Twitter. You can email us directly with questions and comments at wesoundawesome@gmail.com. We would love to read your thoughts aloud on air and definitely let us know about a movie you would like featured on a future episode. We have great movie podcasts. Apocalypse Now, where Scott, Callum, and Des talk about apocalypse-ish movies about society going through a difficult situation, not unlike the one we are currently living through. Want to check out some non-movie related podcasts? Check out All the Answers. You have questions? The Record Keepers have answers? Cassidy and Katie have sassy comments? Who are the Record Keepers? You'll have to listen to find out. And our newest addition to the Sounds Awesome family, Truth Not Trends. Liam Bauer and Jesse Schmidt have a combined 35 years of strength training, and they are here to keep you strong, fit, and motivated through these difficult times. Please visit our website at whatsoundsawesome.com to find all these fine podcasts, or just search Sounds Awesome in your podcaster of choice to find these fine shows. Please rate and review. And now, back to the exciting conclusion of this episode.
The other saving grace of this film is the robot who ends up, after its breakdown, has a personality. Dennis
McCoy. Dennis Gregory McCoy.
His name is Dennis McCoy, and he just kind of wants to be friends. And it's, it's the way that in the first movie, maybe like Napoleon's kind of funny. In the second one, death becomes kind of your favorite. And Dennis is Dennis and the daughters are kind of the refreshing note.
He's programmed to kill, and then once that isn't his mission anymore, he just wants to dance and
he's just like a neurotic,
be chill,
lonely.
Just wants to be in the.
Yeah.
I need to know what his middle name is because he makes. I can't. remember.
Dennis Kale. I think it's K or Kale.
It's a G, I think. It's McCoy. Sorry. Well, this guy, like I said, this guy is like up there with like Griffin.
As your favorite
great.
side characters?
Yeah.
He's pretty fun.
Oh,
So if we're going to talk a little
Dennis
bit,
Caleb. You're right. Dennis Caleb McCoy.
if we're going to talk a little bit more about like the time travel aspect of it,
You did the plot. Good job.
try.
yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean,
That was harder than Avengers Endgame, guys.
seriously.
yeah. I mean, the Bill and Ted go forward. The daughters go backwards. The wives go sideways, maybe. And the devil comes up, and then they just all meet at MP46.
It just seemed like they took a lot of quick ends to tie things up
Yeah,
in this
I
film.
agree.
Everywhere you look, it was just like the quickest answer is the best answer.
Yeah.
The fact that like, oh, the robot's waiting in the garage and just accidentally shoots us and that's how we go to hell. I don't know. There's just a lot of quick things like that. Yes, you want to get into the time theory or did we already?
I mean, it's.
I mean, this movie never took itself too seriously.
Yeah, you can't.
But at least the first one you could say is consistent with bootstrap theory.
Yeah, what I remember specifically from the first one is all they had to do was think it and then it was already there, which is a great time travel
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
concept.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved that. Not many movies do that with time travel where all you have to do was think it and then it already had happened.
That's what Bill and Ted's 3 is. It's them going back and putting the keys behind the post and putting the recorder in the corner.
That's what it should have been, you
That's
mean?
what it should have been.
Should have been.
It should
Yeah.
have been them taking everyone back and the trash can. Remember the trash can. Like, and even in the second movie, that's the only thing that ties Excellent and Bogus together. I shouldn't say the only thing, but time travel wise, is that they do the whole like, when we're done here, we're going to go put.
And again, that's also bootstrap because it's relying on the fact that you're successful and you can put it back there. But if you don't put it back there, you're not successful.
I just wrote a better Bill and Ted's movie.
Oh, I wrote 3 different ones while we were watching this.
Oh.
They also, there's not, if you're going to go Bill and Ted's, go retro with the heavy metal and the rock. And there's like a song or two in it. It's not a huge part of this, of just kind of like rocking out in the retro vibe of that. Just not in this at all.
Yeah, was there any licensed
played-
music in this?
There's like one song when they travel through time, a kind of guitar.
But that's just a riff. That's just
Yeah.
some dude in a studio wailing. Yeah, I'm trying to look and see if there's
They just get out of hell. They could have battled death more. They could have went back to the first 2 films. They could have had more adventures through time. They just kept visiting themselves. It's a less than thrilling. They did suggest alternate realities though at some point in this. So they're bringing in all these possible universes where I guess they fail. But then how do you know when they're traveling through the right universe or not?
but I mean they saved them all.
Right.
They
So what do they do different in this timeline that they didn't do in the other ones, especially because it's a loop that's repeating? It doesn't make sense. My logic circuits do not approve.
Yeah, if in Bill and Ted's 1, they've already united. Well, they united. They didn't. Oh yeah.
Or even in this, then if it's alternate, maybe they're saving a different universe, but their own crumbles and dies. How do we know? And it doesn't make sense if they go to their future selves and the dads are depressed and the wives have left them and they did not save the universe, because they did in this one, but they did all the same things in those visits, but somehow they did save the day also. And if they're going along the same path, then they
Yeah,
would have
it
saved
has-
the day always. It's not consistent.
It has to be all time is happening all at once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with this movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I now, thanks to Bill and Ted Face the Music being on VOD, I now own this. So, and I am, just, it's a little bit brighter. It's a little bit more futuristic. I'm curious to see if I turn this one on, if Cormac's like just all of a sudden interested for whatever reason. Like there's some 12-year-old out there who's never seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and will probably hate it when he watches it, who loves this movie. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, I mean, something went wrong. And I think it getting rushed due to Shelter in Place is probably as good an excuse as any, because there's a few bones here, but there's just nothing on it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Daughter's great, and maybe the spinoff will be their adventures. And of course, the spinoff for Jeff. Wait, what's his name?
Oh, Dennis.
Dennis.
Travels through time. I want to watch that.
Yeah, all the things. So in the end of the other movies, I know it's the second one, they tend to show like newspaper headlines of like what happens to the band after the end of the movie. This, after the credits, you just see a scene of Bill and Ted old. They say there's one thing they need to do before they die. They play guitar for a little bit, and then they sit down.
Oh yeah, it's so
like
bad.
if they even died playing, that would be, oh, this is their completed. They don't even do that. They just play, and then they just sit. And this scene takes like 5 minutes. I don't get it.
What song, if you had to pick a song to save the world, Scott, what would it be? I can't ask my usual question because we've
Wait,
been
what's
here.
the question? You're asking if you had to pick one song that could save space and time,
Yeah.
what would it be?
Yeah.
That's a hard question. You're basically asking what's your favorite song.
No, but it's not, right? What would bring the universe, space, and universe?
It can be. It can just be your favorite if you want, or it could be a sweet Bob Dylan lyric.
Like
that-
your first instinct would be like "Let It Be" or something from the Beatles to bring the world together.
I'm gonna go with
Paul Revere.
Beastie Boys came up pretty
Yeah,
quick in my
Beastie Boys
head.
came up for me too.
To save space and time, mine would
Save
be
space-
something classical, something mathematic. Mine would be,
Ooh.
yeah.
Rush, The Trees. Nailed it.
Okay.
I think it would surprise us. I think it might end up being like Marilyn Manson.
There we go. Eminem's No Apologies. Take a shot, Ari.
I told you, mine would be something classical. Mine would be something scientifically mathematical.
You don't get to you don't get to make a vague reference toward a genre that might save the world.
Dark Side of the Moon, probably whole album.
Ooh, very nice. No, that's okay.
No, mine would be Billie Jean.
Oh.
She just went in a whole other direction.
Boom.
Again, I think the universe is so funny, it would surprise us. It might be like Weird Al Yankovic that saves the universe, and we'd all be very surprised.
I definitely laughed at this movie. Like the laughs were few and far between, but I had a few genuine, especially
Yeah.
when Dennis came around.
Dennis and the Daughters.
I actually look forward to watching this again, just to see, because there is so much time travel in it. Like, there's got to be something I'm missing. I'm definitely going to look up all of Kid Cudi's lines. I'm going to scientifically break down and check out.
I'm gonna learn me about some Kid Cudi.
They could have done more with Death also. Like, that old character was really fun, and they didn't, they had to apologize to him, but they just could have done more. I don't know.
Until next time. No, not yet.
Wait, one more
We got a
theory.
little bit-
So
little
we
bit
talked
more.
about how, like, why is time and space ripping apart? Maybe it's from all their time travel and how much they probably disrupted the space-time continuum by picking up Beethoven, showing him a future mall, and then dropping him off in the past, and going to cheating death and going to time and just doing all time, bringing these people back. Maybe that's why the universe is being destroyed. Maybe it's self-caused, and that's part of the loop.
Why did Rufus die? Did Rufus just die of old age, or did something?
They never showed it in the movies. George Carlin died.
I know that. But in the movie, did they mention why her father
No.
wasn't
No.
with them
You're just assuming.
anymore?
Like old age.
Yeah.
Okay. Just like George Carlin, R.I.P. I'm glad his real daughter got a paycheck from this movie. Kelly's going to bed. Good night. My wife made it almost through half of this movie.
Oh, I don't even think it was that much.
And
Yeah, no.
I think it was 20 minutes at most.
she was so excited that you guys were coming over and so disappointed that we weren't. that not even, it could have been any movie. It could have been any movie. And just the fact that we weren't
She
talked.
stood up and said, "This is bad," and then she walked away. Oh, we didn't bring up the whole point. The continuing joke. The constant is Missy.
Yes.
In the first film, Missy is the very young woman that went to their high school with them and married one of their dads. In the second film, divorced him and married the other dad. In this one, divorced both dads and then married
Someone's brother.
Ted's brother
Who we see.
in the other films.
Do we see him in both of them? I'm trying to think if we definitely
At
see
least
him
one
in
of them.
Excellent. I know we see
Oh,
it.
he's the one with Napoleon, right?
Oh, God. Yes.
He's the one who got ready. He said, Napoleon, he was a dick.
He goes bowling and Ziggy Piggy. Cormac did love Ziggy Piggy. That he latched on to.
So that's the constant is
Missy.
Missy.
Missy is the constant of the universe.
Yep. Thank you for listening to this special face-to-face outdoor new release VOD edition of Time Pop. I am Des.
And I'm Ari.
Guest starring Scott.
Until next time.
Bye.
Ari, you're not the problem.
Paprikash. Pickles and paprikash.
Is my microphone picking up him?
That was a Sounds Awesome production.